Okay, thank you, Karuna, and thank you to all of you for being here. It's so nice to be with you on Zoom this evening. Um, yes, the yoga immersion, I am just so very excited about it, and I'm really excited about it because we are just diving deep into all the underlying parts of yoga that you never really get to. You only scratch the surface at your yoga class, right? You know, usually you get some breath, you get some moves, you maybe get a couple minutes of meditation, but the real juice of yoga, the real good stuff, is in all of the system, the science behind it that's been passed along for centuries. So that's what I love about teaching yoga, and that's why I love teaching with Mind Oasis, because I get to teach a few classes in a row and go a little bit deeper with students into the philosophy, into the concepts of the subtle body, into some of the, the deeper kind of aspects. But when we can really sit together for weeks, months at a time and progressively go deeper and deeper and really dig in together, that's when you learn how to use yoga for your life, and really have it make a big difference for you. And I'm so committed to teaching yoga because it has changed my life very drastically. Total 180. I talk about it sometimes. I write about it sometimes, but I was just like in a place where I was constantly running around in circles, getting in my own way, feeling very, very bad about life, very depressed, very anxious. And it was really understanding and learning yoga that helped me to use all of the tools available to me, through therapy and medication, and having a really strong practice helped me to kind of take back my life, and not really feel beholden and dependent on, on seeking out other people or other tools to help support me. So so it's really been like my mental health savior, and it's so important, I think, to come together in community, and support each other, because we're all living in a time when it is really tough. I don't think there is a better time that we could be offering this program, because we're really getting to that point where we're like, okay, life is different now. So to have this toolkit available to you and to learn the full system in this way, I think it's just going to be so super potent and super helpful for everyone. And, having a movement practice where you don't need to go to a gym, you don't really need to get to a class, is really one of the most, the best ways to stay healthy for your whole life. And that's why I'm really excited that Joseph is going to be sharing his wisdom as a somatic therapist, physical therapist, body work extraordinaire. He's going to be teaching about anatomy and functional movement principles. And so a lot of what you might pick up in a yoga class that might not be that safe or good for you, we're going to teach you how to build your movement from the ground up, so that you always know how to use your body and move your body in a way that works for you. And then, of course, we have Karuna, who's bringing in the Buddhist philosophy, the Dharma. All of my first yoga teachers were also practitioners of Buddhism, so I kind of learned yoga and Buddhism in tandem the whole time I've been practicing and learning. So this just makes sense to bridge these two together in this immersion. And so I'm really excited that Karuna is going to be weaving that in for us. And every training, every immersion, the team of people that that bring it to life, makes it dynamic, makes yoga a living, beautiful, breathing entity experience. So I think this team is really gonna create an odyssey for you to really go in and go out too, expand outward, right? And then we have a number of guest teachers. Turi is actually going to be guest teaching one of our master classes. On Saturdays, we'll have like 3-hour deep dive sessions with a bunch of teachers beyond this trio. And our thought is that we're going to introduce you to a number of the different styles of yoga, a number of different yoga practices, because yoga is so broad and you really can, you can learn many different methods, and we want to be able for you to touch that so that you can see where you might like to go deeper and deeper, because it is broad, but it's also very deep, and you can choose many different paths to explore. And so we want to give you a really good foundation of Buddhism, yoga, and movement, and also open the door to many other yogic pathways for you as well. So that's what I wanted. That's what I have to say about it. I'm really, really stoked. I would love for Karuna, you to jump in.
I think we should hear from Joseph, and then y'all can hear from me.
Okay. Joseph, please share.
Thank you, Allison. Well, I'd like to start with that I'm really excited about the team that we've got going on, because we each come to the yogic perspective from different avenues. And I think that's going to create a very unique synergy for us. 5 years ago, I was invited to write a book I called it Yoga Therapeutics. I taught with my principal teacher, Christina Sell, a series for her advanced students. And I'm going to be bringing the wisdom from that book into the course. And what does that really mean? When we think about therapeutics, it's about how we can tailor movement to our needs. This is one of the challenges that happens in the yoga class, is that a teacher will have a curriculum, and it's usually based on their practice, and it might not be appropriate for your practice. And I want to bring something different, how to go into what's occurring in your own structure, in your own nervous system, how your sensations, feelings, and thoughts are creating your own unique experience, and utilize that as the lens for providing you specifically what you need in your practice, rather than for lack of better terms, a canned program, right? We don't want it to be canned. We want it to be organic. And by giving you all the tools so that you can organically find your own practice, that becomes the most important thing. And so I think this is the thing that's challenging for people, is they go into, different kinds of yogic practices, and they find the thing that resonates with them, but it shifts. Just like our biorhythms shift, so do our needs for how we practice. And tuning into that is a very important aspect. One of the tools that I'll be bringing into our practice is how to effectively use journaling as a tool to deepen your own self-reflection in regards specifically to your practice, what's happening in your body, what's happening in your mind, and how that melds with the Buddhist philosophies and the yogic philosophies. I've been very fortunate in that I train somatic therapists and physical therapists, body workers in how to work with people's nervous system. And I'm going to be sharing some of that with you. And depending on how well we absorb that particular aspect of the information, I can go very deep in it, or we can touch on it superficially enough to give you something unique to work with. I think the important thing is that if we think about some immersions are overwhelmed, honestly, right? There's so much information. We all have so much to share. Finding that balance of what's appropriate, what's safe, creating a foundation and a platform that we can all grow from is the an overlying theme that I'll be providing in the sessions that I'll be sharing. Is like, we're going to build from the ground up, and that's really going to start with our breath and our nervous system, and then from there, how do all of our joints organize? How does that organization fit into our movement practice? How will that affect day-to-day simple walking? Most people don't recognize that our walking throughout the day has such a profound effect on our body. The way that we organize our body when we walk. What would happen if we make some very simple changes to the way that we organize how we walk, and how that's going to affect our nervous system? Throughout the day, our whole experience completely changes. And so I'm going to be sharing some of that as well. It's going to be really fun. Now, can y'all see in the background there, those the colored charts? Well, I developed these charts for the manual therapy community. They're called the 5 primary kinetic chains. A kinetic chain is how the muscles, bones, joints, and connective tissues organize in movement. And through that insight, we get to have a perspective. It draws a picture of what we're accomplishing with our movement, rather than flowery language. There's a lot of yogic practices involve flowery language to elicit a feeling. Well, I'm going to ground us in some anatomy so that we have something to anchor from, so that when we utilize those feeling kinds of instructions, it's also grounded in something that's tangible, something that's structural.
Am I up?
Yeah. And I just want to say, I love what you said about, sometimes when when we dive in, it can be kind of overwhelming. And I noticed as I was putting together the curriculum, I was even getting overwhelmed trying to stuff everything in. So we actually went through and we're like, let's take these parts out and then, maybe save those for later. And that's, I think, one of the best parts about this specific immersion is that we're going to really be in tune and in touch with where everyone is and what reception we're getting, and when is the right time to introduce the next piece, instead of really sticking really hard to to some timeline. So thank you for saying that, Joseph.
So let's take a good seat for just a minute. We're here. Why not just take a moment? Eyes open, eyes closed. Dealer's choice. But taking in, drinking in breath, noticing the sounds around you, the air, the animals, the beings. Feeling your sits bones really rooted on the surface you're seated on, not hearing my words, but feeling the sensation. And then just noticing your heart. Mine is directed to the ground. So can we roll the shoulders back and just open the heart a little bit more? Brave, courageous heart. Crown extending towards the sky. And taking a satisfying breath. You're alive. You will never be alone. Rupi Kaur writes, I stopped resisting the unpleasant feelings and accepted that happiness has nothing to do with feeling good all the time. I stopped resisting the unpleasant feelings and accepted that happiness has nothing to do with feeling good all the time. You can just allow those words to sink into your ears and your bones. No need to think about it, process it, analyze it. Allow your bones to absorb it. Allow your bones to absorb it all. And then just for a moment, noticing the air on your skin, the sounds around you, and just fluttering your eyes open gently and just looking around for a minute, taking in appreciation in your space. There's something there that you love. And then just allow your gaze inward. There's something in there that you love. And honestly, that's enough. We could all go home. But there's a part of us that says, hell no, that's not enough. So then just take a peek at the people on the screen. The people on the screen might not show up for every class, though I think you might. So what am I going to bring? I am going to bring some good rooted Tibetan Buddhist philosophy that I have learned from the most amazing teachers on earth, that I bow and kiss their feet. Literally, when I saw my Hector Law at the airport in Hawaii, the first thing I did was I kissed his COVID airport feet with my lips, because I bow to him and his wisdom that he has imparted on me. So that's what I'll share with you. I'll try to take what he has given to me, and I'll do my very best to give it to you on Thursday nights. It'll be an hour. My intention is more poetry, more music, more dancing, and less blah, blah. It's a challenge to me as a teacher to be less dogmatic and more feeling. I believe in this immersion. I believe that the teachers that you have in front of you and the teacher that you each have within you is so potent. When I went through my teacher training, it was amazing. It changed my life forever. And that is what I want for each of you. Not that you have to change in a good or bad way, but there is a shift. There's a shift that happens within you when you embrace a yogic lifestyle. And you might go back to your old lifestyle. I do all the time. I hop between the two. But to have it at your fingertips, there is nothing I can think of that's more potent and fulfilling. Because you have a physical practice, you have a spiritual practice, and your spiritual practice might be like, I don't know. That might literally be your spiritual practice. I don't know. Let's find out. I don't know. Let's find out. And then you'll have this amazing foundation because Joseph is a master. And he's not 20. He's 60, which means he has a limited amount of time that he's willing still to give his wisdom. And that's his wheelhouse that he has honed for 40 years. You are not getting a 20-year-old yoga asana teacher who's going to tell you about loops and spirals. You are getting a master of his craft. And Allison Joy is just Allison Joy. Her name says it all. She is the sparkle, and she is rooted deeply from my teachers in her practice. And if I can impart 1 ounce of wisdom, it's only because of my teachers. So you are getting the best of the best. And our guest teachers like a Tori, like a Maria, like an Elizabeth, are phenomenal. They are well-rooted, well-grounded, exceptional teachers. So this immersion, if you're ready to like kind of step into changing your life, hell yeah. You have like the best of the best. And we're giving you access to all the teachings on Mind Oasis with all the other periphery teachers. Are you kidding me? It's an amazing opportunity. And so I expect us to sell out and to have an amazing journey together over 4 months. That's it. That's all I got.
Woo! So just a couple of details. It's gonna be a true immersion. So get ready, buckle your seatbelts. It's gonna be a wild ride. On Monday nights, we're gonna meet, excuse me, for 2 hours, 6:30 to 8:30 Central. And Monday nights will be all about movement and anatomy and breaking down the postures. So sometimes you'll be with me, sometimes you'll be with Joseph. And we really want these to be the sessions that inform your physical practice so that you really feel super equipped and really well prepared, no matter what situation you may find yourself in, whether it's in a class or just in your life. Wednesday nights are going to be yoga philosophy nights. We're going to be learning also deeply about the subtle body, the chakras, the system of nadis or channels, the koshas. You may have heard these terms. There's a whole system of knowledge behind them. It's not just kind of like these things that you like hear about for 5 minutes. You can really go deep. So that's a really exciting part of this immersion. And Thursday nights, as Karuna mentioned, will be an hour for Buddhist philosophy. And then Saturdays, we'll have 3-hour sessions. So those will be a combination of movement, master classes, learning about different yogic pathways, having guest teachers. So it's a commitment, and we designed it that way on purpose because we want you to really, dedicate yourselves to this path and give it a shot. It's 4 months of your life. It's a third of a year. And so if you can stick with it and tough it out, we're not going to be toughing it out though. We'll all be hugging you and supporting you through the temple of Zoom and cradling you. So you're really going to see a major shift, as Karuna mentioned. And we're going to challenge you also to try to, make other changes in your life to extend your practice just beyond the mat and the cushion, so that you really do start to see the way, a really integrated practice can light you up. That's the point of yoga. It's about union, right? That's really what we're aiming for, is to infuse our practices in every aspect of our life, not just make it about this little separate thing that we do a few minutes or an hour a day. So if you have any questions, now's your chance to ask them.
Yeah, I had a question. What are the exact days and times?
It's starting March 15th. It'll be, and then it's going through July 15th. Monday nights and Wednesday nights are 6:30 to 8:30 Central Time. Thursday is 6:30 to 7:30, Karuna? Or is it 7:30 to 8:30 on Thursday nights?
Just an hour, and I think 6:30 to 7:30 probably.
Okay. So 1 hour on Thursday nights, and then Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Time until noon. And now, everything is, of course, optional. We can't force you to come to anything. Everything will be recorded. So if you can't make it live, you can watch the videos or just listen to the audio on your own time. And it all lives in your Mind Oasis portal. So you don't have to go like digging through emails to find some random video or a link. It's very organized. It'll be very, very easy for you to go back and rewatch anything that you'd like to access again. And then you'll also have an all access pass to all of Mind Oasis series and workshops. And we have some really exciting series coming up. So we also encourage you, of course, to practice as part of the immersion, right? You'll have your curriculum time, and then hopefully you can also join some classes and practice that way too. So that's the schedule. Who's that cutie in the background? Hi, Mr. Cutie Pants. Anyone else have any questions? I just got a message from one of my Iyengar teacher friends who's going to be offering a little bit about the Iyengar tradition, which I'm very, very excited to share. We also have Turi, who will be doing I Rest Yoga Nidra and gentle yoga for us. We're building in a huge aspect around Ayurveda, which is the sister science of yoga. So that's going to help you learn more about how to take care of yourself, how to have routines that are really supportive of your own health and immunity, which is really important right now. Yeah, so, and of course, meditation, of course, such a huge part of yoga. So it's actually the point of yoga is perfect meditation. So that will be infused throughout. So thank you all for coming. If you think of any questions and you want to send them to us, you can
I want to make a little comment. I can't believe you guys don't have more questions. I figured you'd have like 50,000 questions, but it might be a lot of overwhelming information. So if you do have questions, point them to Allison Joy. Please.
At the Mind Oasis.
Yeah. So Allison Joy at themindoasis.org. But I want to add something. So the immersion is $2,000. And I know that's a chunk of change, but I would encourage you to just take a peek that beyond the immersion itself, which is insanely rich, we also are offering from the moment you sign up until the immersion is done in July, that you can take any workshops or series that you want on Mind Oasis. And if you take full advantage of that, it is actually a pretty significant value add. What we're trying to do to help people is if you were here and you sign up in the next couple of days, I said 48 hours, it's Mind Oasis, please. So just in the next few days, we'll do the join with a friend rate, which is $1,800, and we'll just give you that. You don't have to find a friend, which to me would be like such a relief, like not to have to join with a friend. I could just join on my own. And so it saves a couple $100 and you still get all of the benefit. And we are trying really hard to give you a great benefit. And I'll just add that we're a 501c3. So we're a nonprofit organization. We're not a for-profit organization. We're a nonprofit organization, which means any funds beyond kind of expenses, it goes back into our mission. So you're supporting the mission of Mind Oasis, which is to bring the timeless benefits of meditation to practitioners worldwide. And we do that in like so many different ways, through community meditation, through fee-based classes, and also through community partnerships. And we have a pretty generous scholarship policy, and that's made possible by all of you. So, sign up soon. It helps Mind Oasis plan. Find a friend if you want, and let us know if you need some help. We're always happy to help to the best that we possibly can. We're here for you, really.
David, do you have a question?
Allison Joy, yeah, what time is 6:30 p.m. Central in Nepal?
You're on mute.
And I think
I think it's around 6 a.m. I recall it is 6 a.m. So the 2 weeks that I'm in Nepal, I will have a guest teacher, and I'm hoping it's going to be Hector Marcel. So you would be in really good hands the couple of weeks that I'm in Nepal. And Allison Joy will be holding down the fort with other guest teachers.
David, are you asking because you are planning to go to Nepal?
Well, now I'm struggling.
Well, going on retreat to Nepal in the middle of your yoga immersion would be perfect timing. And you'll be there with some teachers. So even if you had to maybe just focus on your personal practice at that time and maybe not log on to all the Zoom sessions, I feel like that would be a good additive aspect to your immersion.
I wake up early. I don't know how much of the time we'll have.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you
internet
and hop on the internet and you had a connection. I don't know about the logistics, of course.
Travel days for sure. There'll be some time trekking that you probably won't have internet access, or even if you do, you might not want to. But on the travel days, so there's probably 3 on the way in and 2 on the way back, you could certainly join in. And by the way, I've joined in on the airplane before to stuff on Mind Oasis. So you can do it if you want to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Karuna and I will be bringing the teachings with us, and we'll be sharing with our group as our, our pod, our team. I'll be having movement practices, and Karuna's going to be having meditation practices and teaching. She's going to be teaching about the wisdom of the stupa, which will be quite interesting throughout the trek, and how each stage of how a stupa is built will be incorporated into the trip.
It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Should we wrap it up and get off to bed then? Well, thank you so much for joining. So nice to see all of you. Feel free to email me, and I hope we get to practice together. I'm teaching Fridays at 11 a.m. Central. If you'd like to join me any week for building blocks of yoga, you're more than welcome to drop in. And I also have a free 5-day yoga challenge that's available on the Mind Oasis website, so you can practice with me on video. If you want to check that out, please do. And Karuna's put the link in the chat, so check that out for more details, and have a beautiful night.